Your bedroom can be perfectly tidy and still feel strangely busy. A laptop beside the bed. Yesterday's clothes on a chair. A package you still haven't opened. A bag waiting for tomorrow morning. None of these looks like a serious problem. But together, they make the bedroom responsible for work, storage, unfinished decisions, and tomorrow's logistics. So I wouldn't start by asking how to make the room more minimalist. I'd ask something simpler. What doesn't belong in a room whose main job is helping the day end? I would start with 12 things. And some of them aren't clutter at all. The obvious place to start is the laptop. Not because electronics are forbidden in a bedroom, because a work laptop has a very specific job. Open it, and there is email. A document you haven't finished. A message you should probably answer. Tomorrow's first problem. Put that beside the pillow, and work no longer has much of an edge. You don't need a separate office to fix this. When work is finished, close the laptop and return it to one deliberate work location. A desk, a cabinet, a work bag. Somewhere that allows work to physically stop. The bag itself deserves the same boundary. Leave it beside the bed, and it may look harmless. But inside, it is tomorrow morning. Laptop, charger, notebook, access card, receipts. Perhaps something you're trying not to forget. You don't need to unpack and organize all of that before sleeping. Just park the bag near where tomorrow begins. Near the desk, near the entrance, near wherever you actually pick it up in the morning. Not where tonight is supposed to finish. Then look at the small paper things. A receipt, a bill, mail, a form that needs a signature. Individually, they barely occupy any space, but each one contains a decision. File it? Pay it? Return it? Throw it away? That is why a perfectly straight stack of paperwork can still feel unfinished. Give admin one place outside the recovery zone where unfinished paperwork waits to be processed. The goal isn't to remove work from your life. It's simply to give work a boundary. And work is actually the easy part, because the next objects don't look like work. Some don't even look like clutter. You probably know this chair. It may once have been intended for sitting. It has since found other employment. A shirt you wore for 2 hours. Trousers that aren't clean enough for the wardrobe, but apparently aren't dirty enough for the laundry. Something you might wear tomorrow. Nothing here has a clear status. That's why the chair fills up again, even after you clear it. The chair isn't really the storage system. It's where clothing waits for a decision. Give worn clothes 3 destinations instead. Back to the wardrobe, a designated place for something you'll wear again, or the laundry. If the chair hasn't been available for sitting in 6 months, it may appreciate the career change. The same problem often arrives in cardboard. A package sits near the wall. Then another one appears beside it. The boxes aren't necessarily messy. They're unfinished. One needs to be opened. Another might need returning. Something inside needs assembling. Something else needs a permanent home. A package is often an unfinished decision with cardboard around it. So give incoming objects somewhere to land temporarily, ideally near the entrance, or wherever you actually process deliveries. Open it. Decide. Then move the object, or the box, on. Don't make the bedroom hold the decision indefinitely. And then there is the object, with no category at all. A cable from another room. A gadget that needs repairing. Something you borrowed. A spare part you don't want to throw away, because you're fairly certain it belongs to something important. You walk into the bedroom holding it. You don't know where it belongs, so you put it down. 3 weeks later, it has apparently become part of the architecture. When this happens, don't ask, "Where can I put this?" Ask, "What decision is this waiting for?" Repair it, return it, relocate it. or give it a real home. Otherwise, the bedroom becomes a waiting room for decisions the rest of the apartment didn't want to make. But removing obvious clutter only solves part of the problem. A bedroom can be completely organized and still feel visually busy. Sometimes the issue isn't whether objects have a place. It's how many things the room keeps asking you to notice. The nightstand is a good example. It begins with a lamp, maybe water, a book, a phone or alarm. Then somehow it acquires hand cream, earbuds, coins, tissues, medicine, a watch, 2 chargers, and a receipt from Tuesday. Everything fits. That's exactly the problem. A tiny surface is now serving 8 different categories. Before buying an organizer, ask what the nightstand is actually for. Keep the things that support those few actions. Move the rest to where they're actually used. A small surface doesn't need more storage nearly as often as it needs fewer jobs. Charging equipment creates the same problem, in a more technical-looking form. Phone cable, watch cable, earbuds, power strip, backup charger, and one mysterious cable that has survived 3 phones because throwing it away feels irresponsible. Technology isn't the problem. The infrastructure is simply unmanaged. If several devices genuinely need overnight charging, give them one deliberate charging point. Route the cables. Remove obvious duplicates. Keep as much hardware out of sight as practical. You don't need to pretend electricity hasn't been invented. You just don't need a small electrical workshop beside your head. Storage can create the same visual load. A basket can be organized. So can a transparent box. So can 6 neatly aligned containers on an open shelf. But your eyes can still see every category they contain. Cables, accessories, documents, spare toiletries, things waiting to be used. Contained isn't automatically quiet. This doesn't mean everything needs to disappear behind a cabinet door. Open storage is useful when seeing the contents helps you use them. But if you gain nothing from seeing an inventory every night, some of that storage can move, close, or become less visually exposed. The question isn't, is this organized? It's, does seeing it here help me? And that brings us to the last group. Because these things may be perfectly useful, perfectly organized, and completely ready. They're just arriving too early. Preparing tomorrow tonight is usually sensible. Lay out the shirt. Pack the gym bag. Charge what you need. But preparation can slowly turn the bedroom into a staging area. Work clothes on the door. Gym bag beside the bed. Shopping return on the floor. Things to take downstairs. Things to remember for the car. Eventually, tomorrow morning is surrounding you before tonight is finished. Prepare what matters. Then stage those things near the transition where you'll actually need them. The wardrobe, the desk, the entrance. Good preparation reduces tomorrow's friction. It doesn't need to move all of tomorrow into the bedroom. Returns are even simpler. A shirt going back to the store. A package to ship. A donation bag. Something to return to a friend. Something you need to take to work. These objects have already finished their job, inside the home. Their next useful movement is outward. So move them toward the exit. To create one small outbound location near the door, if necessary. Then when you leave, the reminder is where the action can actually happen. Not beside the bed, where the only available action is remembering it again. Finally, look at the things that migrated into the bedroom, simply because there was available space. A spare bag, duplicate cables, Dextra organizers, backup gadgets, unused accessories. Nothing is obviously wrong with them. They may all be useful someday. But if I needed this tomorrow, would I actually look for it in the bedroom? If the answer is no, the bedroom may be absorbing uncertainty from somewhere else in the home. You don't have to throw the object away. Find the category it actually belongs to, and if there isn't one, that tells you something useful too. The bedroom doesn't need to become permanent storage for every object whose future hasn't been decided yet. None of this requires an empty bedroom. A bedroom can have books, clothes, personal objects, technology, things that make it unmistakably yours. The point is not to remove life from the room. It's to stop giving the room jobs it doesn't need. Work, unfinished admin, temporary storage, visible inventory, tomorrow's logistics. Remove those roles first, and the objects become much easier to judge. Because a bedroom doesn't need to look minimalist. It needs to make the end of the day feel like the end of the day. So don't reorganize the whole room tonight. Stand in the doorway and find 4 things. 1 thing from work. 1 thing waiting for a decision. 1 thing creating unnecessary visual noise. And 1 thing that belongs to tomorrow. Move those 4. Then stop. You may discover that the bedroom didn't need a complete declutter. It was simply doing 4 jobs you never deliberately gave it. And once those jobs are gone, the opposite question becomes much more useful. What actually deserves to stay in a man's bedroom? Because the answer is probably shorter than 12. And that is where I would go next.